and welcome to a new episode of Digital Coffee Gaming Brew, and I'm your host, Brett Deister. If you please subscribe to this podcast, that would be great if you haven't already, actually. Anyways, this week, we're going to be talking about all the games at Gamescom. Have you ever wondered what are my top ones that I'm going to discuss? Well, I'll let you know in the thing, and you could share which ones I missed. And if you think I should have shared that, then we can discuss on social media and or Spotify and or YouTube. But to me about Gamescom, and then we're going to be talking about the stats from Battlefield 6 is the main thing, because it's going to be very interesting on how much we destroyed, how much we played, what classes we played as well. So let's get on with the show. That's good. All right, so Battlefield Black Ops 7 was revealed as a trailer, and well, I really wasn't impressed. I was kind of like, that's a little weird. I mean, if you like it, you like it, but I was not really that impressed. Well, I played the open beta. Yeah, I'll play it. I won't actually get it, but I'll play it. I'll see if it's actually worthwhile or not. But I'm not in the process of even looking at playing this. I think Battlefield 6 is specifically what I'm looking for. But for those, you should be excited because Black Ops 7 is almost like a sequel to Black Ops 2. I know it's weird that there's a 5-game difference between each one. So the sequel is 5 games later and not Black Ops 3, which is not the same, or 4 or 5 or 6. Nope, it is Black Ops 7 that's a sequel from Black Ops 2, which is in the future. I think 2035 was it. So we're going back to the future. Wall running's back. I think Omni movement is definitely back. And thankfully, your skins from Black Ops 6 are back as well. So if you thought all those cartoony American Dad, Beavis and Butthead, and everything else were cringe, it's still going to be cringe again. I don't think they've really understood what we're actually looking for, but hey, you know what? It's fine. Everything's fine. Not really, but it's just being terribly downvoted now. I was not impressed when I saw it, but I was interested to see what they were going to do. But it looked like an acid trip, to be honest with you, from the gameplay trailers. Some of it's interesting, like the co-op campaign can be interesting and looks very interesting. Like that stuff looks very interesting. It's just, I wasn't impressed, to be honest with you. I was hoping for, I guess, something different, but if you are a diehard Call of Duty fan, you will, I guarantee you, enjoy this. If you're looking for something different, you probably will not enjoy this. But it's coming out in November, so Battlefield 6 does have a full month before the release of Call of Duty, which is great for Battlefield because it can take the spotlight at least for a while, and then we can see month to month what the Call of Duty effect may be for Battlefield 6 or what the Battlefield 6 effect will be for Call of Duty. We won't really know until they actually come out, but that's where we're at. All right, next up is Dune Awakening is coming out with a new DLC, but there is going to be a free story chapter for the multiplayer survival game scheduled for September 10th, 2025. But the paid DLC titled The Lost Harbor will be released featuring a standalone storyline separate from the free Chapter 2 update. A free trial of Dune Awakening is currently available until August 24th, 2025. Chapter 2 will be added as a free update for all owners of the game. So if you are enjoying it, you're going to get an update. Well, you'll get a little bit of a free update, but the paid update you'll have to buy unless you got the deluxe or ultimate edition, and then you can actually play that. But unless you got those, you're going to have to spend money to get the next DLC paid update. And if not, then, well, you won't get it. You'll see everybody else playing it. Apparently there's a flamethrower in it in the next one. Looks interesting. Dune Awakening is a fun game. I think it is a little boring after a while. The combat is all right, but it is an MMO, and combat does kind of get basic, and it's a very basic combat system, so it is what it is. But overall, the story and the feel of the Dune franchise is there within the game. There are griefers, obviously, and they are looking to make the PvP version or the end game stuff a lot better. They just haven't really announced anything. So we'll see what the refresh is on this, because it looks like it's just kind of a hodgepodge of old design with new design, and they just really need to make it more cohesive. I'm excited to see what Chapter 2 will bring, but we'll have to wait until next month to actually try it out. All right, so who had a Vietnam FPS game coming out next year on their list? Well, I didn't, but Hell Let Loose Vietnam is coming out, so you will get that, I guess, realistic shooter within a more modern era type game. It will be basically a hardcore platoon-based game. It will be featuring 50 versus 50 multiplayer battles that emphasize team play and strategy. It was announced on Gamescom by Team 17 and Expression Games. The game retains gameplay elements from the original title while offering a new experience. It will include 6 maps, pliable helicopters, patrol boats, including the PBR, and a tunnel system. So if you're the Viet Cong, you'll have the tunnel system, and then if you're the Americans, you will have, well, all the nice little gadgets from the 70s that were modern when the Vietnam War was going on. I'm excited for this. I know Battlefield did a few of them. It did Battlefield Vietnam, which no one really remembers, and then it did Battlefield Bad Company 2 of Vietnam, which was still a great expansion to the Battlefield Bad Company 2. They really didn't do much with it besides kind of like one or two, or I think it was just one map, but it was still really good. It was still really fun. So I really thoroughly enjoyed it, but unfortunately they just have not done a Vietnam one since then. I think that was 2010, 2011, I think it was, that they actually released that one. So this is a good welcome back. I know Red Orchestra, Rising Storm did it a little while ago for a Vietnam specific one, but this could be a different take on it. I'm not really quite sure. I saw the trailers. I'm very excited to see what this will entail, but hey, can't go wrong with another Vietnam game. I'm kind of wish that a lot of developers would do like a Korean War type game, but it's like the forgotten war that no one wants to talk about and no one wants to make a game for. So we got the Vietnam War, close enough-ish. But there we go, a new Hell Let Loose that's a little bit more modern than the World War II one. And the World War II one is still fine. Still a great game, still hard. You still die a lot. Anyways, moving on to the Blood of Dawn Walker, which is coming in 2026, and it's developed by Red Wolves and published by Namco. The game is set in the 14th century Eastern Europe, specifically in the Carpathian Mountains. Protagonist, Cone, is a peasant who becomes a half vampire and has 30 days to save his family in the valley. Players can approach the game in a non-linear fashion, including the option to confront the end boss, a vampire named Francis, at any time after the prologue. I'm pretty sure a lot of us are going to try that, like literally after the prologue, where they'll be like, on to the final boss, and then die quick. Just to see what would happen if we actually did that. It would be kind of funny. The game features a day and night cycle, allowing players to choose different strategies based on the time of day. Now, one of the leads for this one was a former CD Projekt Red is directing this title. He was like the creative lead for The Witcher 3, and the game is said to stand out in the RPG genre due to its immersive qualities and impactful consequences. The game features, during an interview with Gamescom 2025, he critiqued other RPGs for lacking immersion, stating that players can often ignore the main quest without facing consequences, which is true. It seems like a lot of times RPGs have this like big like problem to face, but you can like do all the side quests before you do the main quests, and you're basically so overpowered that it doesn't really matter anymore. But it's like, it's a pressing matter that you could spend hours not even caring about, and it's still a pressing matter. So I think this will be interesting to see if it actually does work on what they're going to do, or if players are going to reject it. I am optimistic about this game. I think it sounds very, very interesting. But once again, we don't really know how this will play out. If it will be better than The Witcher 3, if it will be kind of the new dawn of RPGs, it will be the new standard bearer of it, because there has been no new real standard bearer of RPGs prior to Witcher 3. I know we had Expedition 33, which kind of reinvigorated the turn-based genre, but there really hasn't been anything to like become the new standard bearer, because after The Witcher 3, you had Assassin's Creed basically copy what The Witcher 3 did. And you had a lot of other RPGs kind of like take a lot of those elements and bring it back into their games. So that's why I say The Witcher 3, because after The Witcher 3, everything has trying to like frame it around The Witcher 3 and what it actually did. So I'm interested to see what will happen if they do something like this, and this will be the new popular thing to do, is to actually make the main story very, I guess it's imperative that you actually do go through it and not just ignore it. And if that will be a new interesting take on RPGs. All right, moving on. So we have Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord War Sales, which looks very interesting. It's introducing the Nords, so you can play as Vikings on this one. And I saw the video and it had a lot of metal music and spears and big burly men from the Nords. So this looks like a really great addition to Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord, and should be interesting to see when it will actually come out and how this will help enhance what originally is already a good game of Mountain Blade 2. All right, interesting new one for you is Star Trek Voyager Across the Unknown, which has been announced for the PS5, Xbox Series, and PC. It's described as a story-driven survival strategy game where players manage the USS Voyager and make decisions that affect the ship's fate. Players will encounter what-if scenarios, allowing them to explore alternative outcomes based on the different decisions made by Captain Janeway and the crew. The game features roguelike elements, meaning each playthrough presents different situations and challenges. Players will engage in ship management, including repair and constructing ship systems, securing life support, and conducting research. The game involves exploration of the Delta Quadrant, where players can scan celestial bodies for resources and face various dangers. Combat is a component of the gameplay, involving both ship combat and away missions to planet or space facilities. So this could be interesting. Could be a different take on a strategy game where it's basically more like an FTL type of a game where you have to like manage resources, build and upgrade the ship, because you are in the Delta Quadrant, and the Voyager TV series focused on a ship, basically a wayward ship that was way, way far away from the Federation. They had to figure out how to survive on what they had and what they could upgrade the ship to do and how to get resources. So it should be very interesting to see what this actually entails and how this will actually play out. Sounds interesting. I sound intrigued, but I will wait for it to come out, or a demo to happen, to see if this will actually be any good or if this will be a dud. Star Trek games have kind of been a hit or miss for a lot of it, and like the last one I played was like a shooter one. That was a while ago, so should be interesting to see how this one will play out, but I'm optimistic about this. All right, so Lords of the Fallen 2 was announced during the opening night of Gamescom 2025. The game is a sequel to the 2003 quote-unquote Souls-like Lords of the Fallen, not to be confused with the original Lords of the Fallen from the 2016, which was still Souls-like, but not like this one. It had some elements that were similar, but it's very different from the original. There are two different versions, basically. The game will be available on PC exclusively on the Epic Game Store. Seriously, come on now, guys. Don't do this. Don't put it exclusively on the Epic Game Store. That is a dumb idea. I don't like the stupid platform. Most gamers don't. Why do you hamstring yourself? This has got to be the dumbest decision I've seen. It doesn't work. You don't make your sales as much as if you were on all the platforms. Stop doing the stupid ideas. I get it. The money is great from Epic because they pay you, but it's so dumb. Stop doing exclusives. It didn't work for console. It's not going to work for PC gaming platforms. It's not helping Epic. Everybody hates the Epic Game Store. The reason why we have it is because of the free games, not because of exclusive BS that you try to do. Anyways, it looks very interesting, but now I'm not interested anymore because it's on the Epic Game Store exclusively, which is stupid. Congratulations, CI Games. You just ruined yourself for your own stupidity. All right, so we also have a game from the Ghost Runner. It's called Valor Mortis, and Valor Mortis is described as a first-person Souls-like game set in a fictional, horror-infused version of the 19th century Europe during the Napoleonic Wars. The game narrative involves a resurrected French soldier named William who is thrown into a war against monsters and endowed with mutant powers. The game features brutal combat, Metroidvania-inspired levels, and narrative involving horror, corruption, temptation, or conspiracy. The game will be available on PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X in 2026 with a playable demo at Gamescom 2025. One More Level CEO stated that the studio aimed to create a demanding game for hardcore players while showing growth since their previous projects. Should be interesting. It looks very interesting. The trailer didn't show us much. It was just kind of a CGI rendered trailer of just the story. So really it's intriguing, but don't really know much beyond that. And it's funny that we're seeing a lot more Souls-like games. I think that's going to be the new trend. I mean, the trend before was extraction shooters. Before that, it was the more of the PUBG type of games, the Battle Royale ones. And so trends come and go, and this one will be a very interesting trend to see if it actually does take hold. It's done good for a while, but also you got games like Elden Ring, Lords of the Fallen. Lords of the Fallen did okay. It didn't do terrible. We have Hell Is Us, which is similar to what they're trying to do. I mean, it's another, I guess, Souls-like game. So it should be interesting to see what actually happens, how this actually does it, and if it actually will be any good. So expect more Souls-like games to come out because that's the new popular thing to do right now. But beyond that, could be good. All right, moving on to a new game that is, well, similar to the Divine Comedy called La Divina Commedia. Basically, it is, like I said, it's basically the Dante's Inferno, or the Divine Comedy, I should say, because that actually was a trio of books. It just wasn't Dante's Inferno. It's just that's the most popular one because I had to read it in high school. Very dark book, but it's a dark fantasy elements and hack and slash gameplay. The game will launch on PC and Steam, and additional platforms are yet to be confirmed. A specific release date has not been announced, so it could be more than likely next year or the year before or year after. In the game, players will assume the role of a warrior poet descending through the circles of hell to confront demons and redeem a sinful past. The game will include unique gameplay mechanics for different weapon classes, procedurally generated extraction dungeons, a narrative-driven ailment system linked to the 7 deadly sins, customizable weapons, and armor. Players could choose to play as either a male or female character. The game will feature high-fidelity graphics, animations created using a motion capture system developed with an international studio known for previous acclaimed productions. Like I said, I saw the trailer. It looks good. It looks interesting. Actually, it was a gameplay trailer, so there was hack and slash. It's a very hack and slash type of game. Don't know if it's Souls-like or not. It could be or could not be. Doesn't really matter to me. But it looks interesting. I do like they're making it in a vein of the Divine Comedy, specifically Dante's Inferno, that they're really targeting because it's Circles of Hell. So it should be interesting to see what their take is going to be about this and how good it could be or boring, depending on what it is, because it is, again, a hack and slash. So hack and slash can be great or terrible or meh. Actually, you could just say that for all games. But anyways, should be interesting. All right. And then what I also found intriguing was Battlestar Galactica Shattered Hopes. This game is a turn-based roguelike set in the Battlestar Galactica universe, which follows the last remnants of humanity fleeing from the Cylons. Players pilot junkers trying to find the Galactica and must manage resources like fuel, supplies, and morale while defending against Cylon attacks. The gameplay includes elements of real-time strategy and features a semi-retro pixelated art style. The game incorporates narrative choices that affect the player's reputation with factions. The combat involves managing fighters against Cylon attacks with mechanics similar to tower defenses. Interesting. The game includes a real-time combat pause feature for tactical decision-making. So again, I mean, it's another more like survival type of real-time strategy or strategy game with roguelike elements to it, which seems to be the new-ish norm for strategy games. It seems like RTSs, yeah, there have been some in the past, but it doesn't look like there's a lot of new ones coming out, which unfortunately RTS or strategy games or turn-based games or real-time strategy games are very niche compared to first-person shooters, and they always will be niche. Not saying that I don't like them. I love real-time strategy games, turn-based strategy games. I love them. They're fun. They've got kind of a different type of thing, but what I'm seeing from here is that there's kind of this new kind of way of making strategy games intriguing without being real time or specifically like the real time strategy games of old, because they really haven't changed since Command and Conquer days or Warcraft days. They kind of been in that little chokehold of there really isn't anything new. And so that's why a lot of developers and publishers don't make them, because there isn't anything new about them. Yes, we had Age of the Empire 4, and I mean, it was interesting. It was fun. I mean, Age of the Mythology remastered, we also had that as well. So, I mean, it's not like they can't find an avenue. Frostpunk 2. I mean, there are many, a plethora of ones that actually do it, and they have their own little variations to it. But what I'm seeing just from Gamescom is there's more like a roguelike, survival-like element to these strategy games that are going to make them more intriguing, or hopefully more intriguing for new players or players just wanting a new strategy game in general. But speaking of strategy games, we did get Warhammer 40k Dawn of War 4. So this will be an RTS game similar to the original Dawn of War, not the Dawn of War 2, not the Dawn of War 3, but the original one that recently got a remaster. And so saw the trailer. I was really intrigued by it. Really don't know much about it. I think there will be several, I think like 4 or 5 different factions this time around. Hopefully this will be like big army type of a thing, more like one where you make different types of armies. Dawn of War, the original one, was more RTS. Dawn of War 2 was more squad-based management and less RTS. And 3 was kind of a mismatch of both. They both were all interesting. It was made by Relic, and I don't think this one's made by Relic at all. I haven't heard anything about that. So should be interesting to see where they go with this with the developer. No, it is not made by Relic. It's made by a different developer, made a different type of RTS game. So we'll see what they do with it, and we'll see if it actually is going to be good and or bad. But don't really know much about it besides the trailer, but the trailer does look promising, even though it's just, again, CGI trailer that doesn't really give us much except for a story-based elements. All right, so the Battlefield 6 beta. Yeah, apparently it was had the most players in the series history. It had a total of 420,127,450 matches were played during the beta. That's a lot of matches. Players logged in 92,351,578 hours of gameplay. The beta featured more content than any previous beta in the series, including multiple modes and 4 maps, which the maps you could argue were just the medium and small maps, and we wanted to see the big maps, but unfortunately we did not. So more on this is that we have a lot more data because they shared with us more data. So enemies killed 4 billion, excuse me, with a B, 928,771,770 enemies killed. We killed a lot of different countries right now. I mean, that's we killed the United States a couple times. And to be honest with you, I don't know, like 4 or 5, maybe like 10 times. We killed a lot of different countries in this one thing. Now, revives weren't as big. We had 30,936,675 revives. So we killed more than we revived. Apparently, no one wants to revive. Now, breaking down on development rate per class, assault was 32%, support was 26%, and engineer was 23%, and recon was 19%. So recon was the least played, which makes sense, but recon you could also do a lot more things with, especially with the C4, and specifically the C4. You could go around and mess people up. But I see why they would play the assault, because assault you could actually get 2 primary weapons, even though you didn't get a lot of ammo for it. Support makes sense because you could use the LMG. LMG, I think, needs a little bit more of a buff, but you could use the LMG, and the defib killing was just insanely fun to do, not going to lie. And engineer, obviously, because if you need to kill tanks, engineers is one of the better ones to do it, or you just need to torch somebody, or you need to torch a tank, and heal it, and or destroy it. If it's an enemy tank, there you go. All right, total road kills, 5,370,636. Tank destroyed by engineers, 9,395,975. Helicopters destroyed, 9,629,334. Jets destroyed, 3,469,979. Interesting that there's a lot more helicopters destroyed than tanks. Interesting. But man, those road kills, we got a bunch of road kills. We're just mowing down guys, just driving our Jeeps. All right, kills with a shotgun, of course. 337,556,699 kills with a shotgun. Why? Because it was very OP and a little broken at the same time. I eventually started playing it with the close quarters maps because really got tired of getting killed. Now, this is the interesting part. Defib kills. And there were a lot of them. Not as much as shotguns, but there were still quite a bit of them. 7,453,121 defib kills. You guys in your support classes just wanted to run around defib killing everybody. And I agree with you, because I did that too. I actually had one fight where I was an engineer and I was shooting the gun. Guy tried to defib me, then I knifed him, and then I took out my torch accidentally and killed him. He did not defib me, unfortunately. Now, final destruction receipt. Oh, man. 196,786,386,337. So we did a lot of destruction. Close to 200 trillion destruction in dollars in destruction. Man, we destroy things like crazy. It's time to destroy those walls. Some kills. But no, it was great. I'm glad that they updated Battlefield 2042 to give you kind of extra reasons to go back in and get the unlocks for it. But man, they did a really good job with Battlefield 6. It's just a really, really good game right now. Phenomenal job. I would love to see the bigger maps. I'm still questioning how good the bigger maps are going to be, but I still had a really fun time playing this game, especially when I was support in the smaller maps and just defibbing allies that are down and enemies at the same time. I got like 16 kills just from that. Probably could have done more if I just stayed in that building. And was the Ibanez Iberian offensive, whatever that one was in Italy. Yeah, that C point, just going around, just defibbing everybody. It was pretty fun. It was, not gonna lie, it was really fun just to zap. I knifed a few people, but man, defibs are the way to go. It's just easier because knife, you have to actually be in that certain spot to actually do the takedown, or you have to like press your F button and make sure you kill them. I think it's like 3 hits with a knife if they go down. I'm not really quite sure. I didn't test that out, but man, we did a lot of destruction. We played a lot of matches. We did a lot of hours of gameplay. I guess EA is really happy about what they saw with it. And I mean, I am excited to see what the other maps are going to entail on October 10th. I mean, we all want Battlefield 6 back, but we'll just have to wait until October 10th to see it. What are your thoughts on it? Did you enjoy it? I know rush mode isn't the greatest right now. 12v12 isn't great, but I really want to know what your thoughts about it. Let me know in the comments below. But as always, thank you for listening to this podcast. Please, if you feel like it's a great podcast, please subscribe to it. I really do appreciate it. And join me next week as I talk about what's going on in the PC gaming industry. All right, guys, stay safe. If you want to play Black Ops 7, play it. If you want to play BF6, play it. Or if you want to play both, play them both. Doesn't really matter. See you next week. Later.